For close to 2 years, I had almost no progress in my life. I was in complete stagnation mentally, and my weight only increased exponentially. I was experiencing racing thoughts on a daily and nightly basis, primarily about actions I had taken while I was in a manic episode. I had a 6 month long manic episode that began in my junior year of college. From approximately October 2021 to March 2022, I was experiencing feelings of grandiosity, which only escalated and intensified and eventually led to powerful delusions and even a myriad of hallucinations. And all these effects of my mania had profoundly negative impacts on my life and produced major consequences to my life. Among them being, I was expelled by my college fraternity, where I derived a lot of my social belonging and sense of connection. I lost my full-time job working at the local Chamber of Commerce, which was the highest paying job I had had up to that point, and is still the highest paying job I had till today. I got expelled by my university. So really, mania put me on this threefold mission, I call it, right? I got outcast by the three areas that had occupied a majority of my life until I became manic. So mania presented these consequences, and of course, eventually I got treatment, and as a result of that treatment, my mania receded. Oh, so it's game over, right? The video ends there. The mania was gone, right? No, not so fast. Because in post-game mania, what often follows is a massive depressive spell. And that is exactly what happened with me. I had a massive depressive spell that lasted from about March of 2022 to December of 2023, where I was feeling extremely depressed at absolute rock bottom. I did not want to live. I derived no joy from my life. And there were many challenges that I was dealing with mentally. I had racing thoughts about the things I had said and done during mania. I was very upset and distraught about the consequences of my mania. And I just felt like my life was over. I wasn't sure of where to go from there. But in December of 2023, something interesting happened. And that interesting something is the fact that I started taking small steps to improve my health. I was taking small steps to improve my life. I don't know exactly what the trigger was. Maybe it was a medication change. Maybe I just had an epiphany where I was tired of being alive. All I know is that I started taking small steps. I started to go outside more. I would go for walks early in the morning to Honeydew and get a nice coffee. That's where it started, right? And that's how I started to overcome my social anxiety, just that one interaction of the day, and then that was it for the day. And then I started increasing the intensity of my interactions and frequency of my interactions. So eventually I went from just getting a nice coffee in the morning to then getting a nice coffee later in the afternoon as well. And doing this helped bolster my confidence which I had lost post-mania, in which I thought I would never recover. I'm grateful that I was wrong on that particular issue. I've never been the most socially affable person, but social interaction is so important, such a prevalent part of our lives, and being socially isolated is almost never a healthy option, It's certainly not ideal, especially for people like myself who suffer from a major mental illness like bipolar disorder. But the small steps that I took added up to become big steps, and I went from that period of stagnation to a period of gradual improvement, and that transition was monumental. I always like to say small steps add up to become large steps, and the large steps I have made are that I recently started working about a month ago. For the first time in 2 years, I have a job. The last time I had a job was when I was manic. So I'm ecstatic about that fact. It feels good to be working again. I feel like I have a sense of purpose, and I've been very driven about it. It's something to focus my mind on. Instead of having racing thoughts about my manic episode and its consequences, I'm now focused on working, saving money to recover my bank account, to replenish my bank account back to the numbers that it was previously at. And that's just another example of small steps set up to become large steps, right? Because it is a minimum wage job, but I'm grateful for that job because it's allowing me to interact with over 100 people a day over the course of my shift as a cashier. And I know that these improvements are just a huge step in the right direction. From going from sleeping in my bed to this, that's huge. I've been going to the gym. I remember when I first signed up for the gym in December, I had such intense levels of anxiety about the whole situation. It was this generalized anxiety of being around the noise, of being outside, of being around other people, and this discomfort of exercising outside of my home and being away from home, which was my safe place. But I did it. And I started going to the gym more and more. I increased the intensity. I increased the frequency. And it's got me to a place where I started to lose a lot of weight. And I'm continuing to lose a lot of weight. And I'm grateful for that. So I've made progress mentally. I made progress physically. I'm making progress in my life financially. But I know I have to still be cognizant of the possibility of another manic episode. Manic episodes don't just disappear after the first one. There's always a possibility of another manic episode. And without question, I would say medications have been the instrument of my soul these past few years. I would not have been able to recover like this without medication. And I know that some people choose to live their lives without medication, even when they have a major mental illness. And everyone has their own choices to make. But in my case, my choice is to be on medications because I know that's in the best interest of myself. And I know that from my personal experience. That answer might be different for someone else. And that's okay. I'm not going to cast judgment or form aspersions about people, because of the choices that they make. At the end of the day, this isn't the fault of any of us. And I know medications, they don't eliminate the possibility of having another manic episode, but they significantly reduce the probability of having another manic episode, and that's key. And you can still have manic episodes on medications. That's the thing. That's the prominent aspect of this that needs to be understood, and something I've come to terms with and had to accept. I'm still afraid about the possibility of having another manic episode, and I just want to say that fear is rational, because going back to that threefold mission of mania where it destroyed my life, I lost my connections with friends by getting expelled by my fraternity. I lost my job and then got hurt tremendously financially. I lost my education and got expelled. But now I'm looking at things in a more positive light. I see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I see that I can form new friendships. I see that I could work again and rebuild what I had before and go even beyond that. And I realize that I can still get my education. It's not entirely lost. So I made all this progress. I've gone from nothing to something truly significant. And I don't want to lose that progress. Now, I don't want to undermine or understate the degree of progress I've made. Without question, it has been of a whole different pedigree. Mania opened up a Pandora's box of problems, both during and in the aftermath of the episode. I've overcome most of those obstacles, and I'm in a place where I'm not severely depressed anymore. I'm grateful to be alive for the first time in a long time, and I don't want to lose the progress I've made. And that's why I'm going to keep continuing to make medications. And I'm going to keep continuing to make videos because I see this as a form of therapy in itself. Hearing your stories, reading your experiences gives me the inspiration and motivation to keep fighting on, to keep battling on. And I want to tell you that if you're going through a hard time, you're not alone. If you're suffering from a major mental illness, it's not your fault. And you can always make the best of a bad situation. I've been able to do this with myself, and I've been able to do that to a great degree since December of last year. And in this short span of months, I've made tremendous progress. So don't feel like if you're in a dark place that you're stuck in that void forever, because that's not true at all. It's completely antithetical to reality. You can still be successful. You can still strive for your aspirations. And that's exactly what you should do, because you're worth it to this world. You're worth it to someone out there. You're worth it to yourself, and you're worth it to me. And I appreciate all of you who watch this channel. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to smash that like button if you watched this video and enjoyed this video so that more people can see it. And if you have any thoughts of your own you'd like to share, please put them down in the comments below. I always love seeing your comments. But my name is Tyler Adolfo, and this was my video on my fear of another manic episode. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Love y'all. Love, light, and tranquility to everyone. Peace out.